Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. It's a cold and wet and miserable morning here in Bulgaria, but we're not going to let that put us off. We're going to make some exciting light lunches today. So I'm going to teach you how to make some Dukan mayonnaise, and then we're going to do some variations of the mayonnaise, and we're going to be doing some toppings for open sandwiches, and we'll even at the end do a couple of grilled sandwiches like bruschetta style if you like. So we'll be back in a minute and we'll show you how to make these. Okay, welcome back everyone. At the end of the table here I've got our everyday Dukan bread. I made a video. The very first video I've made was called Everyday Dukan Bread. So this is the bread we've made. I've also put on there that we're using 2 slices in a portion. That is if you're on cruise phase. If you're on your attack phase, 1.5 a slice. If you're on the third phase, 2.5 slices. And when you're on your final phase, you can have 3 slices. So we'll be using this bread today to make all these sandwiches. I'll just put that aside here. Now I'm going to show you how to make a Dukan mayonnaise. Now it does not taste like mayonnaise you buy in the shop. You have to do a bit of psychology with yourself and explain to yourself that this is now the mayonnaise that you're allowed to have. So first of all, what you need 2 eggs. They can be medium to large. Then I use a product called Skyr. It is very similar to a very thick strained yogurt, but it's very low in fat. This one specifically here is 0.2% fat. Now I have tried making this mayonnaise using other products, but I find the Skyr has got the best consistency for me. It's nice and thick, it's glossy, and it reminds me of real mayonnaise. So first we're going to separate out our eggs. We're going to be adding a little bit of mustard, a tablespoon of mustard. And then after that, we're going to add enough Skyr till we like the consistency, normally 6 to 8 tablespoons. I'll put the recipe for the mayonnaise just underneath the video in the description part. So let's get started then and see how this mayonnaise looks. So find yourself a small bowl and another bowl for the egg white. So easy way to do it, to separate your eggs like that. Put your yolk in the large bowl. Now you don't need to use raw egg yolks if you're a little bit afraid of that, or if you're pregnant. You can of course use boiled eggs as well, and then you use the boiled egg yolk, but your consistency will be grainy then. You'll need to make it really fine, very smooth. And for me, I prefer the raw egg yolks. These are nice free-range ones from our own chickens. So we've got the egg yolks here. Now I'm just going to break the yolks up a little bit and add the mustard. 1 tablespoon of mustard. The mustard I'm using is a fairly mild one, so you might prefer to use a slightly stronger mustard. So make sure it's about a level tablespoon of mustard. So because I'm using the mustard, I don't need to use any salt because there's already salt in the mustard. I don't need to use pepper because the mustard is already spicy. So that's why it's such a lovely recipe. 3 ingredients and you're done. Now with the Skyr, I'm making a double recipe mayonnaise here, but you can also make half a recipe. So tablespoonful, it doesn't have to be too precise. There we go. And you're just literally folding it in, not very heavy whisking. You'll see it's quite runny at this stage. So I'm adding another one. And it's very yellow because it's free range eggs. This is the third spoon, nice heaped spoon. Now it's starting to thicken up a bit, the texture, but it's not quite as thick as your regular mayonnaise at this point. This is the fourth one. You'll see it gets thicker. 5 heaped ones. It's even thicker. So this is the 6th one. Now you might want to stop there if you think this is a good consistency for you, but you could make it even thicker if you wanted to. Now if you don't like it that thick, you can add a little bit of lemon juice, lime juice. I've got the concentrate here, but of course fresh is always better. Or if you prefer, instead of lemon or lime juice, add a bit of vinegar. But at this stage you should taste your mayonnaise to see if you like it. And that's literally it. Now we've got Dukan mayonnaise. So I wanted to show you that because in some of my recipes in the future I might refer back to the Dukan mayonnaise, and this is exactly what it is. All right. Now once you've got your mayonnaise, you can make different varieties of it. You can add some freshly chopped herbs. You can add a bit of garlic into it to make a garlic mayo. You could also, if you wanted to, add some finely diced pickles. I use sugar-free pickles. I make my own. Sometimes I add a bit of sweetener. So these were homemade pickles that we've done with the cucumbers in our garden. I've also made recently some zucchini pickles, and they are lovely. They are sweet and sour, again with a bit of sweetener. And in another video later on this year, I'll show you how to make some Dukan pickles. So it's Dukan friendly, because a lot of the pickles in the shops have a lot of sugar in them. So if you wanted to add your pickles to your mayonnaise, a little bit of dill, a little bit of finely chopped onion and some capers, then you'll have your tartare sauce. Also, you could add a bit of sugar-free ketchup. There's all kinds of brands. I like this one. It is made from xylitol, and there's no added sugar to this ketchup. So you can add a bit of ketchup, and then you've got your pink muddy rose sauce for your seafoods and things like that. So lots of things you can do with your mayonnaise. You can thin it down with a bit of your milk and make a creamy dressing as well. So that's always good. All right, so now that we've got our mayonnaise, I'm going to show you a few fillings that we can do with our bread. The first one we're going to do is a bit of chicken mayonnaise. Now what I'll do, the first filling will be a protein day filling. On your protein days, you're allowed a tiny bit of chopped pickles, so about a tablespoon. So that would be allowed on your protein day. If you don't like pickles, you can replace that with some finely diced spring onion or chives. That is also allowed on your protein day, or of course any one of your nice fresh herbs. So you can choose what you want to add. So now I'm going to add a bit of mayonnaise here to our chicken mayo. You can of course add a bit more mayonnaise or a bit less. So there we go. Now we've got a lovely chicken mayo for our protein day. So I'm taking one of our Dukan bread slices here. I don't put any topping on it or any spread when I have mayonnaise in my filling, but you can put some on if you want to. Here we go. So that would be a protein day filling. Now, if you would like to have your chicken mayo on a vegetable day, then you're allowed to add a little bit more of the spring onions or the pickles or the herbs. So in my case here, I'm going to add a little bit more spring onion, and I'm going to add a little bit of chopped radishes. because I like a little bit of crunch in my chicken mayo. There we go. Now to me that looks like it could do with a little bit more mayo. So we'll add a bit more mayo. You'll see with these fillings, I'm not giving you quantities. You can just play around with the fillings you like. The idea is just to see what you can do with your mayonnaise and how you can make it a bit more exciting on your veggie days, especially. So there we go. So now that's a chicken mayo filling for your veggie day. Going to put a little bit on the bread here. Here we go. Now also with this Dukan bread, it's quite a heavy bread. So that is why I do open sandwiches. I never close mine because I find it's a little bit too much bread in your mouth when you're trying to chew it. So that's why I do open sandwiches. So protein day, veggie day, chicken mayo. So the next one we'll be doing is a little bit of tuna mayonnaise. So I've got some drained tuna here. I always use the tuna in brine. So that way it's not too salty either. And there's no oil, so never use the tuna in sunflower oil. I also try to get the bigger pieces of tuna, and that way I get a little bit more for my money. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of mayonnaise to this. Now if this is on your protein day, you can add a bit of dill. That's totally allowed, a nice big tablespoonful of dill. And you could also, instead of the dill, obviously use a bit of chives or spring onions, something like that. Now I'm just going to mix that. You might work a little bit more mayonnaise. I think I would like a little bit more. Let's see. There we go. So for a protein day, that is now ready to use. So we'll serve a little bit on our Dukan bread here, everyday Dukan bread, in video number 1 on my channel. There we go. So tuna mayo, quick and easy. Now if you're having your tuna mayo on a vegetable day, I like to add a little bit of chopped tomato. So we'll put some chopped tomato in there and a little bit more spring onion or chives. And of course, if you want to add more seasoning to this, then you're very welcome to do that. Dukan is all about spices, herbs, seasoning. It doesn't have to be bland and boring. Here we go. So what we've now done, we've turned it into a salad, a tuna salad, but it's a really lovely topping. So we're going to top another one here for us. Here we go, lovely tuna mayo with a bit of tomato, onion and dill. There we go, delicious. There we go. So again, here we've got our tuna mayo on a protein day and our tuna mayo on a veggie day. So we'll put these aside. And now what I'm going to show you is the third option, and that is the good old egg mayonnaise or egg salad. Some people would call it an egg salad. Now the one I want to show you today here is made with a spicy mayo. So when we say spicy mayo, it could be with spices, but it could also be hot, really hot. So what I'm going to do with the bit of mayonnaise I've got left here, I'm going to add just a pinch of paprika. Let's see here. There we go. And then the other spice that's nice in your egg mayo is a bit of cumin, which I didn't know about, but I've recently started using that. And it's basically 1/4 teaspoon on this amount. You can stir in your spices there. You can of course use stronger mustard or add more mustard if you want. a bit of chili flakes if you're very brave. Here we go. So that's our egg mayo. Now on a protein day with your egg mayo, I like adding a little bit of dill. So you can do that, or you can leave it. A little bit of parsley. Here we go. Not more than a tablespoon of herbs in there. And now we're going to put our mayonnaise in there. I won't use all of it because I need some for another sandwich later. So here we go. Mix it up. There we go. Lovely egg mayo, spicy egg mayo. Now you can use that for your protein day as it is. And on your veggie day, if you want to do something a bit different, and a bit special, I love adding very finely chopped celery. So I'm adding, you can be generous on your veggie day, you don't need to worry about quantities. So I'm putting in some celery, and I'm also doing a bit of radishes. There we go. Let's mix that together. So it's really colorful egg mayonnaise. Nothing boring about this one. Let's have a look here. Another tray. And we'll plate that one over here. There we go. I'm normally quite generous with my fillings. You can of course use a bit less. There we go. Brilliant. So that was really simple. Now what I'd like to show you something else. What I like doing is toasted sandwiches under the grill. So what I do, I toast the bread and just lightly, and then I put my toppings on. So I'm going to toast this for a minute. Brilliant. And then I'll show you which toppings I'm going to be putting on. Over here I've got some finely shredded turkey ham. You can use any ham you like, as long as it's low in sodium and as low as possible in fat. Then I've got some grated low-fat cheese here. In Bulgaria we can't really find this style cheese that's totally fat-free, but this is the lowest fat that I can find. And if it's a little bit higher than the allowed amount of fat, I just use it very sparingly. So we're going to do a ham and cheese sandwich, and then we're going to be doing a tomato and spring onion sandwich. So we're just waiting on the toast. You can of course add a little bit of herbs if you like. I normally put them on afterwards. We also need to preheat our grill, so I'll put that on as well. So now our toast should be ready. Here we go. So the toast is not extremely crispy, but it helps so that the sandwich doesn't become too soggy. All right. Now what you can do with your ham and cheese sandwich, you can put a little bit of mayo on the bottom if you want to. I'm just using the spicy mayo just now. After that, I put my ham on top, and when you shred it like this, it gives it a little bit of volume, so it looks better. Bit of cheese on top. Here we go. The next one we're going to do is some diced tomato. You can of course season this tomato, make it a little bit more interesting if you want. Mix it with some onion. I love putting red onion in here, and also lots of garlic, but you might not want to do that. You can do it everything the way you like it. And for your family, you can use all these fillings and use their favorite bread. And if they don't like the Dukan Mayo, just make 2 bowls and use their mayo on the other side. So we're doing a little bit of tomato here, a little bit of cheese on top. And there we go. Just going to get a little tray for us that we can use under the grill. So first of all, our ham and cheese, then our cheese and tomato. Now what we can do is we can take our tuna mayo that we made earlier and our chicken mayo. I can actually do them all, even the veggie ones. Here we go. And we give them all a little bit of cheese. Now these have not been toasted, so they'll be a little bit softer, their bases. They'll still be lovely. There we go. See, I don't use a lot of cheese, but if you've got fat-free cheese, you can be a bit more generous. Here we go. So that is ready for the oven now. So we're going to put them in the oven, and once they've cooked a little bit, we'll take them out and we'll show you what they look like. All right. So the oven just beeped. I think our sandwiches are ready. Oh yes, they are. Just look at them. Beautiful. I hope you're hungry. Let's have a look here. Okay, close the oven here. There we go. So we've got our chicken, we've got our tuna, we've got our tomato and our ham and cheese. So I'm going to make up a little selection here. We're going to be putting on a tuna one, 2 different ways. There we go, tuna for protein day, chicken for protein day, chicken for a veggie day. So this is our veggie one. I'm going to give a little side salad to each of them, but remember on your veggie day, obviously no side salad. So I'm going to do a quick salad here. I've got some nice cherry tomatoes. I'm not going to teach you how to make a salad. I'm sure you are all professionals when it comes to that. So I like using a bit of grated carrot, if you've got some. Here we go. And then basically I'm using all my little bits and pieces from my mayonnaise. So a bit of radishes, just for color. Here we go. You can use some chopped celery, anything you like. A little bit of onion. Going to put some cucumber here as well. Here we go. Now if you wanted some dressing on your salad, I'm going to be covering some dressings in a few videos that's coming up. And I'll teach you how to make some salad dressings, some dips, some marinades and some sauces. So we'll be covering that in another video. Now on top here, put a few spring onions if you like. There we go. Just for a bit of crunch. And a bit of fresh herbs. Parsley maybe. Here we go. And on our bruschetta here with the tomato, I did not show you that, but we'll put this bruschetta here, tomato and cheese. I have got some Dukan pesto. So the Dukan pesto will also be in the video with the sauces and the dips, the dressings and the marinades. So you can actually have Dukan pesto, which is great, especially if you like your bruschettas like I do. So that's basically it, everyone. I hope that I've given you a few ideas here to do some lunches. Please remember when you watch our videos to click subscribe and to like them. And if you want to share them with your friends, please do. I'll really appreciate that. I'm looking forward to showing you in the next video a traditional South African recipe for a main course, and we might be able to squeeze a little dessert in there as well, something sweet. So we'll see how much time we've got. But I hope you have a lovely day, and it was great showing you these recipes. Enjoy your day. Bye.